Alright guys, this is a very interesting area. I found this trail actually 2 years ago, but I've trapped this area for a while. This trail comes down around and it comes right up here by my feet. Really nice trail. This is one of those spots. It's pretty unique. We've got a large timber, and on the other side just a really nice draw coming down. And this spot every year is always really good to me, but it's always over here where the culvert is. It's not actually back where that was. We'll walk down here and see if I can't find the trails. It's kind of hard to tell. Actually, it doesn't quite look as good as it has in years past, but this trail just wraps right up here and comes out. This is actually the very first spot I ever caught a red fox in dog proof. We'll check out the other side and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's definitely a little more prominent on the other side where it comes out and over. But this spot is really good. I'll bet I almost hit a dozen coon with this spot every year. Just a really nice location. And then you add in that other route that other trail that I found right there. It's just a double whammy. I mean, I'll catch 2-3 coon off that and hopefully 10 or so off this one. Just a really good spot. You know, and it's timber going to timber, which by far are my most productive spots. It's hard to rate them. I love my timber to corn. That's probably my #1 locations, just because there's so many more of them. I would say I probably have 7 or 8. The ratio is probably 7 or 8 to 1 with timber going to corn or timber going to timber. Timber going to corn are awesome, and I love them. I'm gonna pick up a couple, 2, maybe 3 coon off every one of them, and they're generally every 200-300 yards. These timber to timber spots like this, they're a little farther apart. It seems like they're about every 2 or 3 miles for me, but they produce continuously. And as you get later in the year, when the boars start rutting in January, that's where they're gonna be. Come that time, once all the crops are out, everything's froze up, it's January, I'm abandoning all my trails going to corn. Everything is gonna be on these timber to timber trails. So that's where we're at with this one. We're gonna shut down now and I'm gonna head to another spot. Alright guys, here's another spot we got. A nice timber. There's corn next to it. There's also corn across the road. Also, there's a lone power pole down here that definitely needs to be checked out. Anywho, this is a unique spot I want to show you. We got corn and we got the timber over here. I look over the edge and I can't see anything. I can't find any trails or anything. Some of these are not visible. Find that culvert. The culvert's right here, and it's so hard to see, but coming right through that culvert underneath all this overgrowth is the trail. I'm gonna try and get the camera down there, see if I can't show you what I'm talking about. Here's the trail, right down underneath everything. Excellent spot for 220 conibears, if they're legal in your state. But it's just perfect, it's ideal. You know, they're going right down through this tube. You know, easily throw out some dog-proof traps here too, but it's just a phenomenal trail. Here you can kind of get a glimpse of it underneath there. And then over here, you can see where it opens up and goes some water. But anyway, I just want to point it out, not all these trails are visible just by standing on the side of the road. Get down in there, find the culvert. If there's a culvert there, they're using it, especially if there's corn on the other side. So anyway, we're gonna get around this corner. There's another fence line there that attaches this timber. I'm kind of wondering if we got something over there as well, so we're gonna swing by and take a look. Alright guys, we just rounded that corner. You can kind of see the little trail right along the side of the ditch there. coming down, comes down along, goes right underneath this culvert. Not a phenomenal spot. We were just right there on that corner. It's not great. You know, it's headed over here to beans, which you can catch coon there. I'm not saying you can't, but it's not nearly as appealing as corn is. You know, we'll probably throw a dog proof in here. Might pick up a coon or two, nothing major, but I'll fill in all my area with these little spots in between all my really good productive spots. So, you know, this one's noticeable. It's visible. The grass is really short. You know, and like I said, it's not the most prominent trail, but it's worth throwing a trap on. You know, it's simple. It's easy to get to. It's only about 6 foot down. So we're gonna mark it, GPS, get it wrote down, and head to the next spot. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm definitely learning something today. I was expected to come up here to this spot. Really good location. One of those spots where I'm gonna take 8 to 10 on, especially with the corn over here on this side. I don't know what makes that spot so good, but I'll show you that once we get up here. But I was driving slow, just kind of looking around, looking for spots to show you, and I stumbled upon this. This is a really nice trail. It's hard to tell with the sun here, but it's just packed down, goes through some taller grass, and heads right into the cornfield up there. Phenomenal trail. Matter of fact, if we look down here, I mean, we've just got tracks galore headed up it. Awesome trail. I've never noticed this one. So it doesn't matter how many times you drive the roads and how long you've been trapping it, you're missing something. I'd almost guarantee it. I'm missing. This is, I think, the second one I found today that, wow, I've never seen that, and that's a good one. You know, I expect to probably take 3-4 coon off that pretty easily. What is it for landmarks? This one, there's corn, and then there's the pole. The trail actually cuts catty corner to the pole. Check these poles, guys. All these power poles along the way. If you got corn on the opposite side, they're using it as a landmark to get from A to B. They're done feeding, or this is my thought on it. When they're done feeding, they're looking up to head back home. They're finding these poles, because when they look up, that's probably about the only thing tall enough for them to see above the corn. I could be completely wrong on that. That's just my theory, but there's trails by them. These trails aren't just random 95% of the time. There's some kind of marker they're using. So we're gonna get this sucker marked down, because man, that's a good one. I'm looking forward to that. And that's got 22 or 220s written all over it. So, but I'm gonna write that down, and then we're gonna head down here. All right, guys. This is one of my main locations here. I pick up a lot of coon off of this trail. It's a big mature timber going across the corn. Just an awesome trail. There's a tube down there, but it's too high for them to get to. So they're going across the road. And dropping right down into the spillway. Awesome spot. Definitely a spot where I'm going to pick up hopefully 8 to 10 coon. It's done pretty good every year, especially when I got corn over here. When it's beans, probably still does 5 to 6. So great spot. We've got quite a few tracks in the dirt here. Going right up this trail. Right to the corn. Down there, it's kind of hard to tell, but the trees on the right way down there is where that really good location I was on. Probably about 200, 250 away from us. I found this spot underneath this lone cedar tree. It's not much of a trail on this side. It's a little bit of one going underneath the cedar tree, but I noticed it on the other side, very prominent. You know, it's just a lone tree coming from this pasture across to corn. And that's it. I mean, that's all the marker they have here. There is a power pole right here, which there might even be a trail there too. But I know we got corn here and a mature timber coming up around this corner, and the power pole. There's got to be a trail up there. I mean, it's a perfect combination for everything. So we're gonna get this one marked down. I've never seen this one before either. Definitely a nice trail. Not what I would call one of my big ones probably, but you'll definitely take a couple coon off this for sure. So we'll get this marked down and head down here to the corner. A lot of these spots are that close, guys. I mean, we're talking probably 80 yards away. So we'll get down there and see what we got. All right, guys, we made it to the corner from that lone cedar tree back there. And you can tell it's a pretty decent trail. To be honest with you, it's not what I thought it would be, but it's not terrible. You know, we got corn here. There's our cedar tree we're just at. I'm guessing 75, 80 yards. But that's coming from this big mature timber over here. They're crossing the road to get to food. You know, and this, other than the timber to corn, it's also a corner of a fence. You know, always check those too. Just a good spot. Not a great spot, but you know, I love filling my line in with these. Just nice, easy. You know, I can get to that easy. It's less than a foot drop at most, and that's if I stumble. So, but we'll get up here around the corner. I know this mature timber wraps around this corner a little bit. And there's a nice little low spot down here I want to check out. Always good for a few coon. I should have just walked to this one. That last trail wasn't that great, I guess, because it wasn't the main trail. Here's your main trail. Definitely your main trail. Coming right up here, wrapping around, going into the corn. And this is where the majority of them are going to come from. I mean, literally, I think that corner post was where we're just at, maybe 10 yards. Check all these spots, guys. I really think, in my opinion, a lot of people are missing stuff like this. They think you've got to have water, you've got to have deep ditches. No, your big coon love this up high stuff. Last year, with the fur that I actually just sold here last week, I had 70% of my raccoon were a 3X or up. And I give myself credit to that. I give credit to that because all my stuff, not all my stuff, a lot of my stuff is high and dry. Run these high trails. Yes, I set culverts and there's some water in it, but I'm avoiding the big water systems. Yeah, I know there's a lot of raccoon there, but a lot of these high spots have awesome trails for big coon. So, anywho, we're gonna head down here, wrap around this corner, just past this large tree is that low spot. And we got timber going to corn. I'm sure it's gonna be good.